my friends and my family. This is Trevor Chapman, modern-day man, entrepreneur, achiever, purveyor of the good life, student of life, marketer. After over 10 years in business, tens of millions of dollars, I've learned this one thing. There's too much noise. It takes tactics and strategy. You can't buy it, you earn it through experience. Failure after failure hones the craft. You must become a warrior. It's time to run. The experience you can't buy. You had to have earned it. It's my turn to give back and contribute. I share all of my lessons from 7 to 8 and from 8 to 9 figures. We'll see if it goes from 9 to 10, but I'm gonna give it all to you. Consistency, persistence, dedication, vision, time, discipline, work. I'm gonna give it all to you so that you learn from where I failed and you learn from my experience. My brothers, this is your daily fuel.
Welcome, my dear friends. Thank you for joining us on the From 7 to 8 Figures podcast. This is the first episode. Let me introduce myself to you. Over the last 13 years, I've been an entrepreneur. My companies have grossed over $100 million. No easy feat, as most companies never make it to $1 million. In fact, Forbes just put out an article that said that the average entrepreneur takes 11 and a half years to make their first $1 million. And in the last 13, I've made over 100 million, so I've been lucky. But it wasn't always that way. I grew up in Guam. My dad was a scuba diving instructor. We moved to Alaska when I was 12, where he worked as a whale-watching boat captain. I loved my life growing up, but I didn't realize until much later that we were very, very cash poor. In fact, I was with my wife's family probably about a year ago now, and everyone was talking about their least favorite chores growing up. They're like mowing the lawn, doing the dishes, vacuuming the car, and I was thinking to myself, what? That was your least favorite? My least favorite chore growing up was waking up before the sun came up, driving down with my bicycle to the shoreline so I could catch my family's limit in salmon every day. Go home, smoke them, and can them so that we could live through the winter. Then I'd jump on the bike, and I would ride down to the docks of Sitka, Alaska, and play my saxophone for the tourists so that we could pay for the mortgage. Hard work was, it was like farm life, right? It had to happen, otherwise we wouldn't eat. And it wasn't until much later that I realized that we were a subsistence family, but where we lacked monetarily, there was an abundance elsewhere. My parents did everything I have today I owe to my parents. They did an incredible job of teaching me to just own the situation. I was full of confidence. I was full of love. I was full of caring for other people. As I went into high school, I realized that, hey, I may be wearing my buddy's shoes from last year because they have his name on them. We're not as rich as them, but it doesn't matter. That's not who I am. I'm more than the shoes I'm wearing. Life does not end at the gate of my high school. It's much larger than that. And I grew up learning all these things from my parents. Fast forward now, fall in love. When I'm 21 years old in college, have to make it rain. I went out and I started knocking doors as a summertime job. Did great. And I only did great because if the team worked 5 hours, I worked 10 hours. If they worked 6 hours, I worked 12 hours. I just wouldn't be outworked. One thing led to another. 3 years later, I've got my own company. We're in Florida, Arizona, and California. Killing it. 08 comes around, destroys me. Absolutely destroys me, like it destroyed many people. And I realized that I was in the necessities market. I was in the accessories market, not the necessities market. See, pest control is an accessory. When times are tough, that's the first thing people get rid of. Excuse me. I realized that I needed to get into the necessities market, the thing that people don't cancel when times get tough. And so I pivoted, I evolved, I got into security, eventually commercial security. Many years later, we ended up being the access control integrator of the year in LA County, having installed for Amazon.com fulfillment centers, MAC Cosmetics, the Subway franchises, You name it, we did it. One thing led to another from that, and eventually I was able to work with the actual country of Israel and was instrumental in bringing the Iron Dome software over here to America, eventually attempting to create the first smart city out here in Utah with Sheriff Winder at the time. That whole thing culminated in selling the company to the Blink family. And me starting a solar company. Lots of drama, lots of action, lots of adventure in between, but I'm giving you the Cliff Notes version. And it's here where now you need to pay attention, because this is where it really matters. I'm walking through my marketing department, and they say to me, Trevor, we need more money. And I say to them, you guys spend money, you don't make money, but you're marketing, you should be making money, what's going on? They said to me this, SEO, PPC, SEM, and I realized, I was like, guys, you are engaging in query-based marketing. You're waiting for the customer to want what we have. But that's not what we do. That's not what we do when we go door to door. See, if I wait, doing query-based marketing is like you searching for toothbrush on Amazon. Amazon will show you 12 or so toothbrushes. You choose the highest quality toothbrush at the lowest price. You win. All the vendors fail. It's a race to the bottom. They're fighting over pennies. You can't grow a small business like that. See, when you're Solar City size, you spend $3 billion to make $1.5 billion, effectively spending $1 to make 50 cents. Well, you can do that at that size. You have some sort of market immunity. But as a small business owner, like you, referring to myself, but like you, like my audience, you can't spend $1 and make 50 cents. You have to spend $1 and make 2 or 3 or 10 or 50 or 100. Like, you've got to do that to stay in business. And I told them that them engaging in a race to the bottom, doing query-based marketing, waiting for somebody to already want what we have, will not work. And this is when my thesis was born. I thought, is it possible to go screen to screen on the internet how we go door to door in the real world? See, it takes a very unique character to knock on somebody's door, stop him from slamming it in your face, get him to invite you in, walk out a few hours later with a 20-year solar contract for $100,000. And why can we do that? Because when you don't engage in query-based marketing, instead, when you engage in what I call social disruptive marketing, you can sell at whatever perceived value you can effectively illustrate. And that was the conception of my thesis. I watched every YouTube video I could find on e-commerce. A week later, I launched my first e-commerce site and broke $1 million in 90 days online without any prior experience. Broke $2 million a couple months later. One thing led to another. I had Entrepreneur, Inc., CNBC, Yahoo, Money, Huffington Post all write about me. And I had multiple offers. And eventually I accepted an offer from Clark Capital for an 8-figure buyout, which is incredible because even Zuckerberg only raised $2.5 million after his first year in business. And I'm coming at you now at month 11. My online enterprises have not been in business for a year, but I've got an 8-figure buyout on the table. I'm now consulting for large Fortune 500 brands, huge personal brands all around the world. Let me give you myself in a nutshell. I'm a father of 5, a husband that considers himself very lucky, and an entrepreneur. If I had to sum myself up in one word, it would be entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs are what move us forward. They are the warrior of today. If you're an entrepreneur, if this message resonates with you, then I'm going to take you on a journey as I go again from 7 to 8 figures and from 8 to 9 figures. Who knows if I can go from 9 to 10? Probably won't attempt it because enough is enough, right? But I'm definitely going to tell you that you can accidentally make 7 figures. You can accidentally become a 7-figure earner, but you can't accidentally become an 8-figure earner. That takes deliberate intentionality. You have to evolve as a person to actually create an 8-figure business. I've now done it twice. I've created 3 7-figure businesses and 2 8-figure businesses. Guys, let me take you on the journey of everything that I've learned, all of my failures, my successes, everything that I wish I would have had when I started. More importantly, I'm going to be sharing everything that I want my kids to know, my sons, because they likely will be entrepreneurs. And this podcast will be where I house all of that information. Thank you so much. Please join me every day on these daily shorts. There will also be a long where I interview incredible people. and we are able to garner from them information that is invaluable. Much love, much respect, my friends. Jackson.